وَإِذْ نَادَى رَبُّكَ مُوسَى. And mention when your Lord called Musa alayhi salam. When Musa alayhi salam was on his way from Madian to Egypt. When he was traveling from Madian to Egypt, in the night, when he saw the fire at a distance, he went to get some fire and to find out the way from the people who had lit that fire. But what happened? When he reached there, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala called him. وَإِذْ نَادَى رَبُّكَ مُوسَى. We learn in Surah An-Nazi'at, ayah 15 to 16, هَلْ أَتَاكَ حَدِيثُ مُوسَى إِذْ نَادَاهُ رَبُّهُ بِالْوَادِ الْمُقَدَّسِ طُوًى. Has there reached you the story of Musa when his Lord called to him in the sacred valley of Tuwa? And what did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say to him? أَنِئْتِ الْقَوْمَ الظَّالِمِينَ. That go to the unjust people. Go as a messenger with a mission to who? To the unjust people. Who are the unjust people? Fir'aun and his nation. How were they unjust? That first of all, they were polytheists. They were unjust in the right of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That they were committing shirk. And on top of that, they were also committing great injustice against who? Against the Bani Israel. As they had enslaved them and they were slaughtering them. قَوْمَ فِرْعَوْنَ. The people of Fir'aun. Go to them. أَلَا يَتَّقُونَ. Will they not fear Allah? Go to them and tell them so that they can have fear of Allah and they can believe in Him and they can obey Him. قَالَ. Musa alayhi salam said, رَبِّي, O my Lord, إِنِّي أَخَافُ أَن يُكَذِّبُونِ. I fear that they're going to deny me. I fear that they're not going to listen to me. They're going to call me a liar. Obviously, whatever Musa alayhi salam was going to tell Fir'aun was not going to like it. So this fear was only natural. وَيَضِيقُ صَدْرِي. And my breast tightens. Meaning the moment I think about it, my chest, it feels constricted. And I feel that when I will go and convey the message to Fir'aun, my chest is going to feel very, very constricted. يَضِيقُ is from the root letters ضاد يا قاف. ضيق. And ضيق is tightness, constriction of the heart. So I fear that my chest is going to tighten, I am going to become nervous, I am going to become afraid, I am going to feel very, very uneasy. I cannot go. وَيَضِيقُ صَدْرِي وَلَا يَنْطَلِقُ لِسَانِي. And my tongue will not be fluent. I fear that my expression, my tongue is not going to be fluent. يَنْطَلِقُ from ta, lam, qaf. طَلَقَ is to set something free, to open something up, to untie a knot. From the same root is the word talaq, which is divorce. Because it's the opposite of aqdun nikah. At nikah, what happens? A contract is made. And at talaq, that contract is opened up. And in talaqa, yantaliqu is when something is free. When something flows easily. And especially when used for tongue, it is when someone is very fluent in his speech. When he speaks easily, without any difficulty, fluently. So what did he say? وَلَا يَنْطَلِقُ لِسَانِي. My tongue is not eloquent. It does not speak fluently. It stammers. There is an uqda in it. So I'm afraid I will not be able to convey the message clearly. فَأَرْسِلْ إِلَى هَارُونَ. So send to Harun. Meaning send Jibreel, send your message to who? To Harun, and make him a messenger. Who was Harun alayhi salam? His brother. So what does he ask for? That give the mission to my brother. Why? So that he can be my supporter. Because I'm afraid I cannot do this job alone. In Surah Al-Qasas, ayah 34, we learn, وَأَخِي هَارُونُ هُوَ أَفْصَحُ مِنِّي لِسَانًا فَأَرْسِلْهُ مَعِيَ رِدْءًا يُصَدِّقُنِي إِنِّي أَخَافُ أَن يُكَذِّبُونِ. That Musa a.s. said, and my brother Harun, he is more fluent than me in speech. I'm not as fluent as him. He is more fluent. So send him with me as a support, verifying me. In Surah Taha, ayah 29 to 32, we learn, وَجَعَلْ لِي وَزِيرًا مِّنْ أَهْلِي هَارُونَ أَخِي أُشْدُدْ بِهِ أَزْرِي وَأَشْرِكْهُ فِي أَمْرِي. So Musa a.s. first of all says, I am afraid they're going to deny me. And I feel very uneasy. I feel I'm going to become very nervous and I'm not going to be able to speak properly. وَلَهُمْ عَلَيَّ ذَنْبٌ, and they have upon me a claim. فَأَخَافُ أَن يَقْتُلُونِي, a claim of sin, so I fear that they will kill me. وَلَهُمْ, meaning Fir'aun and his people, they have عَلَيَّ, against me, they have against me ذَنْبٌ, a sin, meaning an offense, a crime that I have committed. They have a charge of a crime against me, and I am guilty of that crime. And what was that crime? That he had killed a Coptic, an Egyptian man. Why? In the course of a quarrel, a dispute. So he said, I'm afraid that if I go back to them and they find me, فَأَخَافُ أَن يَقْتُلُونِي, I'm afraid that they're going to kill me. What do we see over here? That Musa a.s. is giving a list of reasons as to why he should not go, or why he should not go alone at least. This is why he was chosen. Because he is giving so many proofs for not going. He was very, very intelligent. He's using convincing arguments that I am afraid that they're going to deny me. I am guilty of a crime. My criminal record is not clear at all. And on top of that, I'm not able. I am unable. Think about it. He gives these reasons. If anybody gives these reasons to you, what would you say? Fine, you should not go. Isn't it so? But we see that Musa a.s., he was extremely intelligent. And he was extremely firm. Look at his firmness over here. One reason after the other. This is why Allah selected him. This is why Allah chose him. That he was so determined, he was so convincing. But this is why Allah chose him. But we learn a very, very important lesson from these ayat. That when Allah chooses someone for His work, He looks at the inner state of that person. Not the outward state, but the inner state. What do we look at? The outer state. We look at how eloquent a person is. We look at how many degrees they have. We look at their features. We look at their physical beauty, their physical appearance. Which country they come from, what background they have, what kind of accent they have. This is what we look at, isn't it so? And if they meet our requirements, our standards, then we say, okay, they're worth something. But if they do not meet our standards, then we undermine people. And we say they're not worth anything. But what do we see over here? That Musa a.s. had something within him, despite the fact that he could not speak fluently. Despite the fact that he was guilty of a crime, there was something in him that was necessary to do this job. And what is it that was in him? It was determination, and it was well-wishing for people. When a person has these two qualities, determination and well-wishing for people, then he is selected for the work of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How do we know that Musa a.s. had determination? From these evidences that he presents over here. And how do we know that he had well-wishing for people? If you look at it, why did he kill that man? It was a mistake, but he was trying to help someone. He was trying to help someone, and in helping him, he hit the other person, and he did not intend to kill him. It was out of his great might and power that he possessed that he unintentionally killed him. But the reason why he ended up in that quarrel was because he wanted to help someone. Similarly, we see that he went to Madian. What happened over there? There's a group of people who are trying to water their animals, and at the same time there are these two women who have their animals as well. Now amongst all those people, nobody realizes that these two women, they need help. Musa a.s., he's exhausted, tired, hungry. He's sitting under the shade. What does he do? He gets up and he helps those two women. When a person has well-wishing for others, when he wants good for other people, then Allah chooses him for the work of His deen. Even if apparently we feel that he's not suitable for that work. We feel that he's not suitable for that work. Because you see, there are two things that are necessary for a person in order to do some work, especially the work of deen. You need the inner drive, and you also need certain skills. If you have a lot of skills, You're very good at speaking. You're very good at doing your work. But you don't have the inner drive. Can you do your work? No. If you have the inner drive and you lack the skills, then what will happen? Allah can compensate for the skills. He will. He will teach you. He will enable you. But you have to bring the inner drive yourself. That is necessary. Because the desire has to come from the heart. And when that will come, then Allah will fulfill everything that you need. Everything that is missing, He will compensate for that. But the inner drive, you have to bring it. So we see that Musa a.s., although according to worldly standards, he wasn't capable of going over there. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala still chose him. He still selected him. He said that I am not as eloquent. I stammer in my speech. I have this on my record. I have that on my record. I cannot go back over there. But because he had the inner drive, he had well-wishing for people, he was a man of determination, he was of the ulul azm prophets of Allah, he was chosen for this work. So in this is a huge lesson for us as well. That many times we focus too much on external skills, outward skills. I'm not saying they're not necessary. They're very, very important. However, remember that if you focus on your inner drive, if you focus on your heart, that you have the desire to help people, you have iman in your heart, then Allah will give you the opportunity. And whatever you lack, Allah will give you that ability. So many times it happens that when people start the work of the deen, what are they concerned about? Money, finances. Or they're concerned about the numbers of the people. They're concerned about so many things. But we see that if there are even a few people who are sincere, who are dedicated, then the work can still be done. The money will come. But if you have a lot of money, if you have a lot of resources, but you don't have sincere and dedicated people, then nothing will be accomplished. Nothing will be done. So what is needed for the work of deen is sincerity, dedication, inner drive. That you have to bring yourself. And Allah will give you everything else that you need. So we see that Musa a.s., he was chosen because of his inner drive. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, قَالَ, he said, كَلَّا, no way. Meaning, they cannot kill you. Musa a.s. said, I fear that they will kill me. Allah says, كَلَّا, they will not kill you. Or Musa a.s. said that I am unable to go, I'm afraid, وَيَضِيقُ صَدْرِي وَلَا يَنْطَلِقُ لِسَانِي. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, كَلَّا, not at all, you have to go. Do not fear. فَذْهَبَا بِآيَاتِنَا, go both of you with our ayat. Which ayat? The miracles that Musa a.s. was given. And what were they? The staff as well as the glowing hand. فَذْهَبَا بِآيَاتِنَا, both of you go. Who does both of you refer to? Musa a.s. and Harun a.s. Now Harun a.s. was not present over here when this conversation was being taken place. So why is it said فَذْهَبَا? Because the command was to both of them. And both of you, because Musa a.s. was the one with the upper hand. He was still of higher authority. Because Harun a.s. was his assistant. So فَذْهَبَا بِآيَاتِنَا إِنَّا مَعَكُمْ, indeed we are with you, مُسْتَمِعُونَ, ones who listen attentively. Mustami'un from istama'. And istama' is to listen attentively to something. To pay attention to every word, every expression, every sound. Inna ma'akum mustami'un. We are listening to what you are going to say. We will listen to what they will say to you. What do we learn from this? That a person who is chosen by Allah, a person who does the work of Allah, then Allah's help, Allah's protection, Allah's support is with him. So he should be confident. He should not feel afraid. In Surah Taha, ayah 46, we learn, إِنَّنِي مَعَكُمَا أَسْمَعُ وَأَرَى, that I am with you, I hear and I see. فَأْتِيَا فِرْعَوْنَ, so go to Fir'aun, both of you, فَقُولَا, then both of you say to him, إِنَّا رَسُولُ رَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ, that indeed we are messenger of who? رَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ, the Lord of the worlds. Instead of saying that we are Rasulullah, say what? Rasulu Rabbil Alameen. Why? Because Fir'aun had claimed to be God himself. So say to him that we are the messengers of who? The Lord of the worlds. And say to him and أرسل, that send, ma'ana, with us, Bani Israel, the children of Israel. Allow them to leave. Allow them to go. Where? Back to their country. Back to Ash-Sham. Because they had been enslaved since the past 400 years now. So let them go. Set them free. أرسل معنا بني إسرائيل. So both Musa and Harun, alayhim as-salam, they went and they said to Fir'aun what is mentioned over here. What was the response of Fir'aun? قال, he said, ألم نربك? Did we not raise you? Fina, in us, walidan, as a child? He said this to Musa alayhi salam, that, O Musa, ألم نربك فينا walida? Did we not raise you among us as a child? That you were a little child, an infant, and you grew up in my household. You grew up in my house amongst us. Now you come and speak against me? Now you come and stand up against me? I have bestowed such a huge favor upon you. أَلَمْ نُرَبِّكَ فِينَا وَلِيدًا. Nurabbika from the root letters Ra, Ba, Waw. Rabba, yurabbi, tarbiyah. And what does tarbiyah mean? To nurture. And it means to provide physical nourishment as well as mental and emotional nourishment. That a person is not just taught as to what to do, but also how to do. He's trained. Alam nurabbika, did we not train you? Did we not educate you? Fina, amongst us, in our homes, in the royal family. Walidan, as a newborn child. Walid is from the root letters Waw, Lam, Dal. Walad is a child, but Walid is also a child. And Walid in particular is used for a very small child, a newborn child. Walabista, and you remained, Fina, among us, min umurika, of your age, sinina, many years. You stayed for so long amongst us. Sinin is a plural of sanad, year. You remained amongst us for so many years. How many years did Musa a.s. stay there before going to Madian? According to some, 30 years. Because after that, he lived in Madian for 10 years. And at the age of 40, he was given prophethood. So, وَلَبِثْتَ فِينَا مِنْ عُمُرِكَ سِنِينَ. So when Musa a.s., he went to Fir'aun, and he gave him the message. He told him that we are the messengers of Rabbul Alameen and send the Bani Israel with us. Fir'aun completely ignored what Musa a.s. said. He completely disregarded that. And what did he say? He started talking about the favors that he had shown to Musa a.s. Why? In order to belittle him. That after all the kindness we showed to you, after all that we did to you, you come to us and tell us we are wrong? You stand up against us? You dare to speak against us? And Fir'aun says, وَفَعَلْتَ, and you did, فَعْلَتَكَ, your deed, الَّتِي فَعَلْتَ, that which you did, وَأَنْتَ مِنَ الْكَافِرِينَ, and you were of the ungrateful. Notice the words over here. وَفَعَلْتَ فَعْلَتَكَ الَّتِي فَعَلْتَ, that you did your deed which you did. So eloquent. The same letters are being used again and again. That fa'alta, O Musa, you did. Fa'lataka. Fa'lata, this is a noun. Fa'la. And fa'la is a deed, an action. Fi'l is an action that is done with or without intention. But fa'la is an action that is done only once. A one-time action. And what action is he referring to? What deed is he referring to? The qatl, the murder of the Egyptian man. So, O Musa, you did your deed, allati fa'alta, which you did, wa anta min al-kafirin, and you were of those who are ungrateful. What does it mean by this? Kafirin over here, according to some, means those who are ungrateful. That we showed you so many favors, and how did you repay us? By killing one of us. We were so good to you, but what did you do in return? You killed one of us. How ungrateful of you. And others have said, وَأَنْتَ مِنَ الْكَافِرِينَ. Kafirin means disbelievers. That you are a disbeliever then, and now you come and say that we are disbelievers? وَأَنْتَ مِنَ الْكَافِرِينَ. What do we see over here? That when a person begins to convey the message of deen to others sometimes, what happens? They remind him of his past. It's possible that a person has completely repented. He has completely changed his lifestyle. He's left those habits completely, but people don't leave him. People don't let him forget. And every time he mentions something about the deen, they will say, do you remember what you used to do before? Remember you used to do that? Remember how you used to dress up? Remember the kind of words you used to say, the kind of places you used to go? Why do they say this? To make you feel guilty. To make you feel that if we are doing wrong, don't say anything to us. You did it, now let us do it too. And how come now you're showing that you're so righteous? You're not that righteous. Look at your past. You've been so bad before. You've been so sinful before. What did we learn in Surah Al-Furqan? That a person, no matter what crimes he has committed, once he does tawbah, and he believes and he does amal salih, then Allah changes his sins into good deeds. This is how generous and forgiving Allah is. But people, how are they? They don't let you forget. It's possible that Allah has changed those sins into good deeds for you. But the people will keep on reminding you about what you've done. This is a way of covering up their own faults. This is a way of undermining their own mistakes, so that they don't feel bad. So, Fir'aun, he used the same technique. That look at you. Now you claim that you're a messenger. Look at all we did to you. All the favors we bestowed upon you. And look at what you did. You committed such a great crime. وَفَعَلْتَ فَعْلَتَكَ الَّتِي فَعَلْتَ. So what was the response of Musa alayhi salam? قَالَ, he said, فَعَلْتُهَا. I did it. He's openly confessing. What happens? If people remind us of our past, we begin to give excuses. I did it because of such and such reason. I didn't actually do it. It was actually that person. Musa alayhi salam says, فَعَلْتُهَا. Yes, I did it. He admits. Idhan then, I did it at that time, وَأَنَا مِنَ الضَّالِّينَ. While I was of those astray. Meaning I didn't know any better. الضَّالِّينَ is a plural of الضَّال. And remember that الضَّال is used for someone who is astray, but it is also used for someone who is ignorant, who does not know. Who does not know what to do. So, I was unaware of the knowledge that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given me now. So even if I did it before, I did it in ignorance. I did not do it intentionally. I did not do it intentionally. So Musa alayhi salam, he accepts his fault. And then he says, فَفَرَرْتُ مِنْكُمْ. And then I fled from you. فَرَرْتُ فَرَارَ. Farar is to run away from someone or something out of fear. To save oneself. So I escaped from you, I fled from you, لَمَّا خِفْتُكُمْ. When I feared you. Musa alayhi salam, he fled from Egypt. He went towards Madian when he feared for his life. Because he was told when he was in the city, in Surah Al-Qasas, ayah 20, we learn, وَجَاءَ رَجْلٌ مِّنْ أَقْصَى الْمَدِينَةِ يَسْعَى. That a man, he came running from the farthest end of the city. And he said, قَالَ يَا مُوسَى إِنَّ الْمَلَأَ يَأْتَمِرُونَ بِكَ. That, O Musa, indeed the chiefs, they are deciding with regards to your affair. لِيَقْتُلُوكَ. So that they can kill you. فَخْرُجْ إِنِّي لَكَ مِنَ النَّاصِحِينَ. So go, I am to you of those who are well-wishers. So Musa a.s. at that point when he heard that, what did he do? He fled. He fled from Egypt. He left. So Musa a.s. he confesses over here, فَفَرَرْتُ مِنْكُمْ لَمَّا خِفْتُكُمْ فَوَهَبَ لِي رَبِّي حُكْمًا. And then my Lord bestowed upon me judgment. وَجَعَلَنِي مِنَ الْمُرْسَلِينَ. And He made me of the messengers. Yes, I did not know before. Yes, I was ignorant before. And yes, I committed a huge mistake. But it was unintentional. And now, I have changed. Now, I'm a different person. How? That فَوَهَبَ لِي رَبِّي حُكْمًا. My Lord has granted me hukm, sound judgment, wisdom, knowledge. And وَجَعَلَنِي مِنَ الْمُرْسَلِينَ. And He has made me of the messengers. He has sent me with a message too. What do we see over here? That if people try to remind you of your past, don't get angry. Don't get frustrated. Does Musa a.s. show any anger to them? Does he say, oh, look at your mistakes, look at your sins, look at your crimes? I killed only one man, you have killed so many people of Bani Israel. Did he say anything like that? No. Generally, this is what happens. If somebody reminds us of our mistakes, we remind them of their mistakes. If they make us feel bad, we make them feel worse. But the fact is that when you have gone for a specific purpose, then you should remain focused on that. Fir'aun was trying to change the topic. But Musa a.s., he is focused on the topic. He doesn't get caught up in the things that Fir'aun says to make Musa a.s. angry. And you will notice that sometimes you speak to someone and they will say something that makes you very upset, and it completely distracts you from your purpose. Completely distracts you. So Musa a.s., in a very calm manner, he says, yes, I did it. However, now I have changed. Similarly, if a person tells you something about your past, what can you say? That yes, I was like that before. However, alhamdulillah, I studied the Quran. So, I have changed. I don't do that stuff anymore. I have left that. I'm a different person now. You can say something like that. You don't need to start praising yourself. But you can just tell them what brought the change. And you can tell them that you don't do what you used to do before. This is very, very important. Instead of defending yourself, instead of trying to accuse the other person even more, the benefit only lies in accepting the reality and talking about the reality. And we see that there was great wisdom behind what happened in the life of Musa a.s. That how he was brought up in the house of Fir'aun. So that he wasn't just aware of the Bani Israel, but he was aware of Fir'aun, his weaknesses. He was aware of the Egyptians as well. And then he was taken out of that environment and he was trained as a shepherd. He was made to live amongst common people as well. And this kind of exposure is extremely important for someone who wishes to bring a change in the people. That you need to be exposed to different challenges in life. You're comfortable, and then all your comfort is taken away from you. Because you learn to deal with people, isn't it so? And when you learn to deal with people, only then you can convey the message to them. If you look at the life of Yusuf a.s., he was also made to go through different stages. He got the love of his father. Then he was in the house of Aziz. And then from there he went to the prison. And only then he was ready to take that huge responsibility. So Musa a.s. as well, when he was made to go and live in the house of Fir'aun, and then from there all the way to Madian, and then back to Egypt, there was great wisdom behind that. Many times when such things happen in our lives, that something goes against our desires, we start to feel very bad. But always remember, Allah is training you for something. Allah is training you for something. Many times, when people come and complain about they cannot get along with their mother-in-law, they cannot get along with the other girls whom they are living with in the hostel perhaps, I always tell them, this is a training for you. Allah is training you for something. Whenever difficulties come, whenever things go against our desires, Allah is preparing us for something greater. And then Musa a.s. says to Fir'aun, وَتِلْكَ نِعْمَةٌ, and this is a favor. Which favor? That تَمُنُّهَا عَلَيَّ, that you remind me of. Which favor? That you raised me in your house. Because Fir'aun said to Musa a.s. that أَلَمْ نُرَبِّكَ فِينَا وَلِيدًا. So Musa a.s. says in response to that, وَتِلْكَ نِعْمَةٌ, and this ni'mah, that you raised me in your house, تَمُنُّهَا عَلَيَّ, you are reminding me of it. تَمُنُّ from man. Remember man? لَا تُبْطِلُوا صَدَقَاتِكُمْ بِالْمَنِّ وَالْأَذَى. What does man mean? To remind someone of the favor that you've shown to them. So you are reminding me of this favor. Why? Why did you have to show this favor to me in the first place? أَنْ عَبَّدْتَ بَنِي إِسْرَائِيلَ, that you had enslaved the children of Israel. Had you not enslaved them, you would never have to bestow this huge favor upon me. Because you had enslaved the Bani Israel, and you were killing their children, this is why my mother put me in the basket. And this is why your wife, she took me, and she raised me. Had you not enslaved the Bani Israel, you would not have to bestow this huge favor upon me. وَتِلْكَ نِعْمَةٌ تَمُنُّهَا عَلَيَّ أَنْ عَبَّدْتَ بَنِي إِسْرَائِيل. I was not raised in my house, I was raised in your house because you had enslaved Bani Israel and you were slaughtering their sons. So what kind of a favor is this? So now Fir'aun, he's made speechless. So what does he do? He changes the subject again. So he says, قَالَ فِرْعَوْنُ وَمَا رَبُّ الْعَالَمِينَ. Fir'aun said, and what is this Lord of the worlds? You said that you are Rasul of Rabbul Alameen. What is the Lord of the worlds? If you notice, ma has been used. And ma, what is it used for? غَيْرَ عَاقِل. Those beings that do not have aql. And when ma is used for aqil, a being that does have aql, then it is for the purpose of ihana, in order to degrade, in order to humiliate. So he says, وَمَا رَبُّ الْعَالَمِينَ. And what is this Rabbul Alameen? What are you talking about? We are supposed to be your Lord, and you say that there is a Lord of the worlds? Musa a.s., he does not become emotional. He does not say, how dare you insult my God? Because people become very emotional at these points as well, isn't it? Musa a.s. stays calm, and he says, قَالَ رَبُّ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. He is the Lord of the heavens and the earth. وَمَا بَيْنَهُمَا. And whatever that is between them. إِن كُنْتُم مُوقِنِينَ. If you should be convinced. Muqinin is a plural of muqin. Who is muqin? One who has yaqeen. What is yaqeen? Conviction, certainty, that you have no doubt left at all. Look at the response of Musa a.s. It's such a simple response. Who is the Lord of the worlds? Musa a.s. says, the Lord of the worlds is the Lord of the heavens and the earth and whatever is between. As if, isn't that obvious? Lord of the worlds, worlds would include the heavens and the earth, whatever is in between. In kuntum muqin, if you really believe in conviction, if you really want to believe, then this is the reality. And if you don't want to believe, again this is the reality. In Surah Al-Qasas, ayah 38, we learn, وَقَالَ فِرْعَوْنُ يَا أَيُّهَا الْمَلَأُ مَا عَلِمْتُ لَكُم مِّنْ إِلَهٍ غَيْرِي. Fir'aun said, O eminent ones, I have not known you to have a God other than me. The only God I know you have is myself, no other God. So he claimed to be God. But look at the response of Musa a.s. It is so calm, so composed, so clear, so simple. This is what it means by إِذَا خَاطَبَهُمُ الْجَاهِلُونَ قَالُوا سَلَامًا. They say peaceful words in return. Fir'aun is constantly trying to incite Musa a.s. He's provoking him. But look at how Musa a.s. remains calm. قَالَ. Fir'aun spoke up. He said, لِمَنْ حَوْلَهُ. For those who were around him. Fir'aun said to those people who were around him, and who were they? His chiefs, his elite. So he said to them, أَلَا تَسْتَمِعُونَ. Do you not hear? Did you hear what this man just said? Did you hear what Musa just said? He said that there is a God of the heavens and the earth and whatever is between them. And that God is other than me. Why does Fir'aun say that? Wasn't he talking to Musa a.s.? Wasn't he? All of a sudden, he stops talking to Musa a.s. and he addresses his courtiers. Why? To get them upset and angry against Musa a.s. Notice this. And you will also experience this sometimes. That you're talking to somebody and all of a sudden they stop talking to you and they start inciting other people against you. They start making other people angry over you. So Fir'aun, he used the same technique. قَالَ لِمَنْ حَوْلَهُ أَلَا تَسْتَمِعُونَ. قَالَ رَبُّكُمْ. Musa a.s. he goes on. Now who is he addressing? The courtiers as well. He says, رَبُّكُمْ. He's the Lord of all of you. Because Fir'aun, he starts talking to the people. Now Musa a.s., he also starts talking to the people. Before it was a conversation just between the two of them. As soon as Fir'aun, he started addressing everybody, Musa a.s. seizes the opportunity and he addresses everybody as well. رَبُّكُمْ, your Lord, وَرَبُّ آبَائِكُمْ, and the Lord of your fathers, al-awwali, the first ones. Aba is a plural of ab, and remember, Aba refers to fathers, grandfathers, however upwards. So he's not just your God, but the God of your ascendants even. Look at how focused Musa a.s. is. Every time Fir'aun tries to distract him, tries to make him angry, tries to make him emotional, Musa a.s. comes back. He does not get derailed at all. Who can do this? Someone who has patience and someone who is focused on his work. Someone who is focused on his mission. Musa a.s. knew that this opportunity that he had gotten to speak to Fir'aun was a rare opportunity. Think about it. How often Does an ordinary man get to go and speak to the king? A king like Fir'aun. And in the court, while so many other people are present. So at this time, you cannot get distracted by other things. The time is very short. The opportunity is very unique. And it's the first time. Either win or lose. So this is why Musa a.s., he remained so patient and calm over here. You will notice many times people as well, when they are in certain situations which are very unique, an opportunity that is very unique, very rare, and a very important situation, they will remain very, very patient. Like for example, if you have a major exam, no matter how badly you have to go to the washroom, what will you do? What will you do? You will sit there. You won't go. Because in some examinations it happens that once you leave, you cannot come back. And you have a limited amount of time. If you take out even 5 minutes, that means 5 marks gone. That means losing out on marks. So what do people do at that point? They do sabr. They stay focused. So only that person can be successful who remains focused on his work, on his mission, who does not get distracted by what other people are saying, by what other people are doing. There's so many scholars of the past who remained focused like this. We learn about one of the scholars, Abu Tahir al-Silafi. He was a scholar of the sciences of hadith. And we learned that he traveled extensively, he went to many, many places, and then eventually he went to Alexandria, and that is where he taught. And we learned that once he started teaching over there, he did not even take a single day off, even a few hours off to go and visit the great things, the great monuments in Alexandria. Not even one day, not even a few hours he took off in order to go and see the great monuments that were in Alexandria. He stayed focused on his work, and he died at the age of 105. And it is said that he was teaching almost until the last moment. He just got up to pray, and after his salah, he passed away. What happens to us? We are working, we are doing our work, and all of a sudden, something comes up on the television. There's something that's going on in the city. A new store has opened, a new mall has opened, a new adventure place has come up, a new deal has come up, and you can get the pass. So what happens? Everybody's running towards it. And because everybody's going, we're also going. Why? Because we don't realize the value of our work. If we truly realize the value of our work, we would spend every moment, every hour doing it. And then definitely the effects would be much greater. So the scholars of the past, they weren't able to write such great books, and they weren't able to leave behind themselves such great legacies without this sacrifice, without this patience. Imam Shafi'i probably it was, because he went to study from Imam Malik, that once he went to study and an elephant had been brought into Medina. And it was something very, very amazing, because no elephants had come there at that point. So everybody left to go see the elephants, but he did not go. Imam Shafi'i, he used to say that لَوْ اشْتَرَيْتُ الْبَسْأَلَ لَمَا فَهِمْتُ الْمَسْأَلَ. That if I go start buying onions, I will not be able to understand the mas'ala, meaning the masail, the issues of the deen, the issues of fiqh. I will not be able to understand them. That my time is very, very precious, very important. I do not have time to go and spend on buying onions and selling onions. This is an expression that I don't have time for all of this business, because if I start spending my time on that, I will not be able to do what I'm supposed to do. So a person is only able to accomplish his work when he values his work. And when he values his work, he will give his 100% to it. He will not get distracted by money, by great things, by exciting things. The only thing that excites him is his work.